That was big time.
This is a young OG conversation, journalism for the culture.
Yeah, Sacramento, California 916, stand up. You are locked in to Sacramento's hottest spot for that real talk, sports talk, KC's Corner, here on 97.5 KDEE. I am your host, Kenny Caraway, a.k.a. KC, a.k.a. DJ Ice Cold. Jam-packed show here today. We got a lot going on. We got to recap the NFL draft, what the 49ers were able to do. We got The Last Dance, as always. My man Aceberg Slim, he gonna come in here. We're gonna talk about episodes 3 and 4 of The Last Dance. Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas, a lot going on last Sunday. But it's May 1st. Should be talking about the NBA playoffs. Should be deep entrenched into the NBA playoffs, but we're not. But we got some stuff on the horizon. First things first, here on KC's Corner. 97.5 KDEE.
First things first.
First things first.
First things first.
And the big news today, NASCAR announces racing will return next month. The first race will be at the historic Darlington Raceway May 17th, but with no fans. This will be the first race since the season hit pause more than 2 months ago because of coronavirus.
All right, so look, I'm just going to be honest. I apologize to my cousin Anthony. But nobody really cares about NASCAR coming back. All right. We just don't give a damn. All right. We don't care. All right. But I brought that up as a first things first because that's almost like a gateway. All right. Sports are trying to come back. They're trying to, make their way back into our normal everyday lives. You got NASCAR coming back. You got, people trying to have golf come back. You got baseball trying to make a move to come back and have everybody in Arizona. But the big one, the one everybody is circling, is the NBA. All right. And the NBA announced last week that starting on May 8th, next Friday, that they will be letting, how do they put it? So they'll be letting certain teams, I shouldn't even say certain teams. Basically, you're going to be able to get into your team's facility. So every team across the board is going to be able to get into their team facility, practice, shoot arounds, all that other stuff. Individual workouts, not like team practices. You still can't have more than 4 players on a half court or something like that. But you're able to get some shots up. You're able to work with the coach or whatever the case may be. But the thing about it is, you have to be in one of these states that have released some of the shelter-in-place restrictions. So, for instance, Georgia, the Atlanta Hawks, they'd be able to get in there because Georgia said, "Hey, we're opening the state back up. We're able to do some things." Great. California, Gavin Newsom, it ain't happening. So, Lakers, Clippers, Kings, Warriors, you guys still got to shelter in place at least till the end of May, and that's where some of the divide is coming in with a lot of these owners and some of the players. They feel like they be getting a competitive advantage if you're in Oklahoma City, if you're in Atlanta, if you're in Utah, states that are saying, hey, you guys can go do what you want. While California and New York are probably like, no, we're still on lockdown, shelter in place, whatever you want to call it. You cannot practice. I understand what they're trying to do. I don't think that, number one, the Atlanta Hawks aren't going to the playoffs. So when you talk about the specific teams, you're talking really about Oklahoma City Thunder, Utah Jazz, something like that. And they're still going to have a training camp for the NBA. You're still going to give you about 3 to 4 weeks of training period for each team. So you're going to have an opportunity to get better. I don't know if Oklahoma City getting shots up for 1 extra week is going to be what the straw that breaks the camel's back in this playoff run. Like, I don't think Oklahoma City's going to the NBA Finals because they could start 2 weeks earlier working on their jump shots. And then on top of that, have you heard some of the regulations and the restrictions that they're going to have for being able to even come into the arena or come into the practice facility? It's crazy. Jazz, you got that queued up? Yeah. So look, here's Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst talked about what it's supposed to look like if you come in to one of these NBA facilities?
You come in, and yes, you can have 3 other teammates there, but you're going to all be separate. And the closest anybody can get to you is 15 feet. And the person who's rebounding for you is going to have to wear gloves and practically a hazmat suit. And as soon as you walk in the door, you're going to have your temperature taken, and then you're going to give over your keys and your phone, and they're going to be dipped in Clorox. And then you can't use any of the hydro. You can't. I think, as I read this, unless correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't use like the hot tub or the cold tub or the underwater treadmill or.
Yeah, it sounds like an absolute mess. Just an absolute mess. I gotta track down missed jump shots in a hazmat suit. Craziness. The other thing about this, real quick, is I feel like the NBA it's kind of in the fourth quarter. No pun intended. It's in the fourth quarter to try and save this 2019-2020 season. Because if you ask me, they have to know that they're going to be able to go by June 1st. They have to know, because they have to start the season by the beginning of July. That means you got to have, the players have already said, we're not going to come back cold. So you got to have about a 3-4 week, training camp period. Then you got to have maybe about 7 to 10 regular season games to get them revved up for the NBA playoffs. Then you got to be able to have your playoffs by maybe the 3rd week of July, 1st week of August at the latest. So you can be done with all of this, NBA finals included, before football starts. Or maybe you might go a week or two into the NFL season. But the point being, they need to make a decision coming up very soon. Coming up very, very soon. They got about 4 weeks now to decide, hey, we can do this. And if they can't decide that they're ready to do this starting on July 1st, I think the season's a wash. I think it's a wrap. But we will see how it all plays out. I'm going to get into The Last Dance, episodes 3 and 4, with my man Aceberg Slim on the other side. But right now, let's get into some music. We got Case featuring Foxy Brown and Mary J. Blige. I bet some of y'all didn't know Mary was singing on this song. Touch Me, Tease Me, here on KC's Corner, 97.5 KDE.
Barbershop talk in the chair, getting the taper. Young OG, it's the sack homie. Memento, potential to own the streets.
And it was an